is now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 187. So, it's time for the daily status update. Once again, on October 14th, because it was exactly 2 weeks ago now, got the notification that we won. All of the cases were dismissed, the N13 cases. The rumor is that they may try to appeal or request some kind of like judicial review and try to appeal it, but I have not heard any official notification on that end. The next front is working on the store. There are currently no sales on the store, and there's no updates on this other than the fact that the 2 new block dedications are still there. They're expensive now, $32. And I guess in a couple days we'll see if Canada Post goes on strike again. The next update is the thing I've been working most of the day on is the next marketing video. So that video, I finally got to recording 100%. The editing, I'll say 90%. And this is actually quite long. I mean, I've been working on it for almost a month. It's basically, I think there's actually 3 videos of content in this video. And instead of releasing it all as one big long video, I'll probably release it as 3 videos. And so I actually rendered one. I haven't uploaded it, but I think it's getting close. And I made a thumbnail for it, and it's so much work to make videos. You put so much work into them, that you're like, I gotta actually think hard and have a good thumbnail and a good title. Otherwise, you worked on it. Nobody clicks on it. So we'll say rendering 33%. So the pipeline is getting there. Okay, and the next item we've been grinding away at is getting to the next release of the terminal block mining game. So let's look at the behavior that we had last night. So I felt like it was almost done a few days ago, and then there's like usability issues where if you resize terminal, it doesn't necessarily keep the selected item visible. And I wanted to fix that, and fixing that made some other bugs visible. And along with that, I also, long term, I want the ability to have scroll bars on the right, on the side and the bottom. So I'll probably just go ahead and implement that while I'm working on this. John Smith says you should call it World Dom. Oh, the game, you mean? Yeah, I don't like that. I think for now I'll just keep calling it Terminal Block Mining Simulation Game. I think that's a good placeholder name. Okay, that works. Or Dom World, different market. Terminal block mining. No, it's longer. Terminal block mining simulation game. I don't know, I kind of like that title. The more I say it, the more it grows on me. Dom World is completely different. Oh, I don't even know what that is. And I will leave that a mystery. Okay. So I think the next thing that I will work on is the existence of the scroll bar. It should calculate so that it has scroll bar. It should be like has right scroll bar, has left scroll bar. Yar, jar, rar. Robert Elderstream, rebooting into Debian. Because audio broken on my Ubuntu install. That's too bad. What's crack-a-lackin', Robbie? Just working on the old terminal block mining game. Oh, you use Arch? Wow. That's very impressive. So I will divide this into two functions. Only sacrificed 80% of sanity for his Arch setup. That's quite a bit. I would think you need less than that. Turned my Arduino Uno R3 into an HID device yesterday out of boredom. Controlled the mouse with IR remote. Yeah, that's that brings up the topic of those the FBI issued a warning about like plugging your phone into like random USB things. as a warning, is it can like hijack you. It can like install stuff, or like run applications on your phone or device or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of people like debunking what the FBI said. I thought about making a video about that because there's like some video. There's like some lawyer who always like reacts to stuff, and he did this reaction video kind of critiquing that idea, suggesting it was like not well founded or something. But I mean, that's the perfect example, is if you can just make like a Arduino thing, and as soon as you plug it in and type stuff automatically, then that's a pretty good demo that, it is, you don't want to plug your device into untrusted stuff. Dookie Out Bias says, yo. I watched that video. Yeah, I guess I could just say that. But I think it would be better to go through like a demo or something. I actually have like I don't have that. Well, I guess simple Arduino Nano Wi-Fi chip, you can do some damage. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how much code it is. I did work on the better project. I have an STM device around that has something from another, when I was teaching at the college, there was a demo board where it would have been easy to demo basically exactly that. Or I guess the other thing that would be necessary is to get it to present as an HID device, and I don't know how to do that off the top of my head. I have to Google it. Yep, everything is dangerous. The lesson is never ever touch technology, because you will immediately get hacked. Nothing is safe. To short out my Arduino R3 to make it HID. Interesting to short it out. I'm not familiar with. I know what it would mean to short something out, but I haven't worked with the Arduino that much. So I use Commodore 64. Even that's not safe. If it's connected to the power grid, You could get hacked through the power grid. You got to build your own power grid in order to really be safe. Otherwise, there could be stray harmonics that the power company is sending. Mr. Smith, do you own a leather trench coat? There are two pins closest to the USB plug. If you connect 2 wires, it resets the chip. You can use software to upload custom hexes. Oh, okay. If you can hack a C64, that'd be very impressive. I mean, you could use a laser beam on a satellite to beam electrons onto the chip. If you can figure out where the computer is. Or you can use lasers and all kinds of stuff. All right, let's see what that does. I mean, a maser? Isn't that like a celestial? Like a what do you call it? Like a cosmological phenomena? A maser? A massive laser-like star or whatever? Wondering if C64 would be affected by acoustic emanation. Microwaves instead of light. I'm thinking of a quasar, but isn't there it's like an astrophysical phenomena, a maser. What is the temperature? The temperature is 1. Thank you for asking. Lasers are based on light. Masers use microwaves. Okay, so I guess that's just the name for that same technical device. If it works in another part of the spectrum. I thought there was some kind of astrophysical. Is there something like a Mazar? Like M-A-Z-A-R or something? So, someone said Mazer. Sounds concerning. Now we're just hypothesizing. Just Googled it. Sounds dangerous if done incorrectly. That sounds like something, what's his name? Styro Pyro would have on his channel. If he's not already done one of those. You really need to be doing whatever you're doing in the chassis of the microwave. With, I guess when using a mazer. E-spectrum of masers is very broad. Yeah, I don't know. It's outside my field of competence. Oh, that's why it doesn't appear. Black Matrix says, "Hello, Robert. How's it going?" Rebooted into Debian. Audio is working. Nice. I have no comments on the EM discussion. I don't know about that stuff much. Debian is running well. Something crappy about the desktop, but I say that every time. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Every time there seems to be like, there's some set of bugs that never gets fixed. I always hope that someday we'll fix all the bugs, but we just keep introducing new ones. So sick of C++ right now. Day 9 of this project. Dude. Losing my voice. I was voicing a bunch before this, so my voice is kind of tired. Dude, what are you building? Building a terminal-based video game where you mine blocks. Say the game is mature. What will typical late game gameplay look like? That's a good question. I think the gameplay will depend a lot on what I can actually implement. Once technically, I could just ship what I have today with the crafting list, but there's still some bugs with some of the words getting cut off and stuff. But I'll probably add a bunch of new block types and crafting recipes, and I think just with the basic primitives that exist, it's possible to I could just have more crafting steps that where you turn the wood into charcoal and just leverage, have more pathways to create iron ore that involve the different types of ores that are available. And I don't know, I guess I'd there's titanium dioxide in the game already, so you can combine that with something. Titanium dioxide and wood could make paper or something, and then the paper can be do something in the game. Really getting into making custom hotkeys on the current install. Hopefully I'll get rid of the mouse entirely one day. I think the mouse isn't the most annoying thing. I don't know, the future. I kind of almost think one of the reasons why it seems like Linux is taking off and Microsoft's kind of given up on desktop is because in the future, I think a lot more stuff is going to be tied to mobile phone. And in a way, the importance of a phone for two-factor authentication, and once we're all forced to use digital ID and stuff, that might be the real center of the universe, and especially with AI. Is it in a public repo? Yes, there's a link down in the description. Man, I gotta make some cash somehow. $1K each in sell and $70K in raw materials. It's pretty good ROI. Titanium, too rare. Titanium is very common in the Earth's crust, but it's energy intensive to refine the ore from titanium dioxide to titanium. That's why it's so expensive. And what do you mean digital ID? Assuming they won't accept a pic of mother's passport this time. Well, I don't know. I keep seeing in the news they're going to push digital ID everywhere. I'm going to try to. Let's see what that does. They were saying they're going to ban VPNs in Australia for a week or two. For a week or two? That's it. I don't know, banning VPNs. I think from my understanding, the VPNs actually benefit Western countries a lot more than, I don't know, it's not clear what the governments have in mind, what they're trying to accomplish. Okay, that does what I want. Grant S says, hi, how's it going? Do you just leave all these windows open? Your stream is always 4 minutes same. Yeah, I actually have to reset it up every single time. So this inner window, this is on my main computer, and then on the streaming computer, I have to open up YouTube, and then I have to like pop out the windows and then move them around and size them, and then it always forgets the window down here, so I have to like reconnect it to that. OBS always forgets. Do I get up every time I turn off stream? Yeah. Have you read the book Think and Grow Rich? I'm pretty sure you would be dubious. You would be dubious of a lot of claims in the book. It's actually a great book. I don't really have time for reading books. Actually, in one of the videos that I worked on for marketing, I did read a book on business back in the day, and part of my video was to explain something by reviewing that book that I read years ago, which was about the lean startup. And it was kind of a critique of that. I've had a lot of books are I find they're just written by people who someone who's on Adderall or something will take 2 or 3 times the recommended dose, and then they just spam out this really long book. Or now you can just do it with ChatGPT, but they're all they're written like ChatGPT before ChatGPT existed, and a lot of them are just some person who's really excited about something. They're writing this like they know how to do it. Basically, Philip K. Dick's career. He was creative though. I guess I would argue there's maybe even more value in some of the stuff that he wrote than a lot of these business books. They're just like I say, it's just like someone who's eating stimulants and just pumping out tons and tons of ChatGPT nonsense. And some of them have nuggets of advice. This a really common thing of some business person that they try something and then they get successful, and they try something that works, and then they over extrapolate that and then write a book about it. They're like, here's the 5 that pattern that I've invented to build a business, and then but it only works for that one thing that they did, and then they misattribute a lot of the things that they were successful, but they don't understand why they were successful, because it was just by accident. However, do you like scary movies? I can't even remember the last movie I watched. I don't watch movies. The more you learn, the more you earn. There's too much stuff to learn. I've learned enough. I need to execute more. Nobody's going to tell you how their money-making methods. mean, there's nuggets of information out there, but from my perspective too, the world changes. Like the specific formula, like if you had the benefit of hindsight and someone was to give you a plan, like here's exactly how you're going to make $1 billion, that formula changes like every 5 years, because it's so much based on what the government's doing and interest rates and the real estate market and the business cycle. Just invest in bonds. Yeah, but some people want to make more than that faster. Shorten ChatGPT nonsense to slop. Yeah, slop books. I get the feeling you would hate Think and Grow. Is that one of those books by there's that guy Rich Dad Poor Dad? I read about that guy, and for a while I was like, this is a book that everyone's buying and reading, and they seem to like it. And then I read into it, and that guy, apparently that story of like the rich dad and the poor dad is like a made up story. I mean, it's probably like, it sounds like a story that could be true, but the fact that it was just made up is like, why would I waste my time reading a fictional story about a thing that, like an obvious thing that someone imagines to be true? My grandparents were millionaires from clerical job, bus driver job. Wow. Yeah, I guess if you just bought housing, like the strategy to win was back in the early 2000s, just buy any house and go into as much debt as possible, because assets appreciated like insanely, and then all the debt gets inflated away. There's no quick path to being rich in a few years. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. This whole scam economy we got going, it's running out. It may hit a wall. By a guy that was born in the 1920s, he met Andrew Carnegie. He interviewed a lot of rich industrialists. Yeah, those are interesting, although it's hard to extrapolate a lot of that onto modern day life, because like everything in our economy is just so different. It's actually why I'm very pro-inflation. If you play it right, it builds wealth. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. You have to know what's going to happen. I think it is kind of a good bet. Like, it is very likely, in my opinion, that we're not going to get rid of the inflation. So I guess it does make sense to just go into massive debt, get a bunch of valuable assets. I have no idea what the heck I'm seeing here. Can you tell me about it? This is, I guess right now I'm just talking to chat. I'm working on a terminal-based video game, which I'll demo it in a minute. So right now I've been working on adding some new UI features. So it's a terminal-based video game where you wander around, you spam the M key to mine blocks. Then they show up in your inventory. And that's the basic game loop. And right now I'm working on, this is just like some demo. I'm working on a generic user interface feature for displaying lists in the terminal, so that way this will eventually be I'll have a crafting recipe list, so you can specify your crafting recipe. And also I want the inventory needs to use a list. And it's a Z dimension. Yep, there's your XYZ. I'm very anti-inflation, but I know it'll never change. Too good of a deal for those in charge. Yeah, and I think it's also the Federal Reserve is just kind of forced to do it. They're kind of forced by economics and fundamentals, and also the government can just never balance the budget. And I think they've explicitly said, like, 3% is the new 2%. They used to target 2% inflation. Now they're targeting 3%. So that's basically like a signal that they're like, yeah, why bother with 2 when we could do 3? And that this may be a sign of things to come. They may be like, yeah, we did 3% and that was okay, so let's do 4%. And 4 is pretty close to 5, so let's do 5%. Then before you know it, inflation will be 100 trillion%. And we'll be printing, we'll beat Zimbabwe. You'll have to get a $500 quadrillion bill just to buy one slice of bread. Problem with deflation is you don't want debts to keep the same value over time. That should be a depreciating asset to people who hold it. Yeah, that's the way it's played out. It's been that's why it's been so good to hold debt in the past. I'm very pro-inflation, laughs and gold bars. Yeah, I hope you bought some. Although gold went down recently. So the next thing I'll probably add to this is So this thing has 3 lists, max 3 columns that are displayed. Yeah, I want to make it so you can also have a second scroll bar here, and then this can go over display even more even more columns. Money is a tool. It shouldn't be a help, like a hard asset. Yeah, there's many philosophical things you can say about what money should or shouldn't be, but the way things are and the way they're going is very far from any kind of utopist vision of fairness. Probably get yourself a Steam Deck. It can make your moderation much easier. It's programmable. You can make it work how you like. Foot pedals to select messages and remove. Oh, interesting. A Steam Deck. Is a Steam Deck a hardware device? I don't even know what. I assume when you said that, I thought it meant. Does that have anything to do with Steam gaming? I guess for moderation, I don't really. I mean, I'm not really serious about streaming. Honestly, I don't really have to moderate that much. Steam Deck, hardware Pi, Elgato. Okay. Steam Deck is a gaming device. I'll put that in the to-do list. I have other financial priorities at the moment. Right, let's try that again. Keep it in mind. Make your life easier. Yeah, actually, I appreciate learning about that. I've heard of a Steam Deck before. But I actually just assume. I guess if you had asked me to like quiz me on what it was, I would have said it's probably like. I've heard of, what was it? There was like the Game Boy years ago, and then the Sony released the PSP, and I thought a Steam Deck was like a handheld gaming computer or something, like a really modern Game Boy, basically. But I don't know, maybe that is what it is. I'm out of the loop on a lot of stuff. Like oh, okay, yeah, it is that. PSP Steam Deck is a programmable macro LCD device. Okay, so I guess it's like it is what I thought it was, but I guess it's much more featureful than I had thought it was. Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. I mean, if I had lots of money, it'd be there's lots of fun and interesting ideas I could think of with more better streaming setup, but it's a lot of work to do everything. Working on getting more revenue has been the priority, so I spent a bit of time to set up the Shopify store. So in the event that I do get another like surge in traffic, that's the challenge. Like if I had lots of traffic, or the stream does well, or I have a video that does well, I need to capture that and monetize it. And the act of monetizing traffic is a lot of work itself. Gior Danny says, hello there. How's it going? the Stream Deck. Oh yeah, that's close. Close was the thing first. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's what he wrote before. Stream Deck, Steam Deck. Steam Deck is gaming. Okay. Okay, so I missed that. So, an anonymous user, do you recommend a Stream Deck or a Steam Deck? How can we help promote your channel? That's a good question. I guess the standard likes and subscribes. And I would encourage, the best thing anyone can do is become a channel member on the 99-cent tier, and then forget about the fact that you're subscribed, and just give me 99 cents forever, and completely forget about it. Even if you don't watch my channel. Could have named it better. I recommended a STREAM. Okay. Yeah, thank you for highlighting that. I thought. Yeah, I looked at that message and I thought he meant he was recommending a Steam Deck, but it's a Stream Deck. Okay, let's see. All right, that's working. It's overwriting my scroll bar. You know what? I'll probably have to make that scroll bar. Yeah, I may have to make that a separate area so that because it's drawing the scroll bar, but you can't see it. That makes sense why. Confusing. Not the first time I've heard it being confused. Steam Deck. Yeah, I get my my vision's not the greatest, so, and that's in small font, so hard to see. Anon needs to fill his lungs with toxic cigarette fumes. Oh, Anon isn't you. All right, enjoy your smoke. I like Nintendo DS. I never had any Game Boy or anything like that. So there's going to be another issue. With the scroll bar being covered up. Had a few consoles, didn't change much. Had no money for games. Had no idea about the hacking thing at that time. Yeah, these days you just download all the games. Actually, the scroll bar should overwrite whatever's pasted there. No need to have a console today. Do they even still sell consoles? I think there was more versions of the Xbox or something. I never even had an Xbox. I had like an N64 back in the day, but I've been completely out of that scene for ages. Okay. There's no scroll bar. Okay, interesting. There's a scroll bar. So it is detecting the need for a scroll bar. Must be this function that's wrong. That's why. This is writing it off of the end. So there's a scroll bar, but it's way off the edge of the layer. Do you have Patreon? Maybe that's something to consider. I do have Patreon. Yeah, I have all the things that like all the things exist. The it's like if I post stuff, if I post calls to action to be like, hey everyone, sign up to my Patreon. Those posts always seem to get like they're not interesting. And like if I specifically say like give me money or do this or that, that generally doesn't seem to result in the action. But if I just put out content that people like if this is just a really good video, that brings in way more subscribers and money and stuff like that. So that's what I've just tried to focus on. Just there's like some small fractional percent that converts over, and it's weird. It like there's some. It almost seems like the algorithm. Like if someone stops being a channel member, it seems like the algorithm will always like immediately replace them. It just immediately finds someone. Because I've been at about like $200 a month for YouTube memberships for a long time now, and then every time like some people's thing will just lapse, it'll just like find some random person like the next day will join, but it doesn't really seem to grow over time. Could even overlay OBS with something to praise donators. Yeah, I would like to have more interactive. Like I have the raising funds for world domination. If I had like a progress counter for that, like if I had like 2,500 of 12 billion, like just having that feedback would, I think, encourage and it'd be interesting. I actually don't even know the number at the moment. Only thing that keeps console alive are exclusive games. That's such a waste to put all that work into making the game. You can only play it on the console. Could even bind donuts to the mining game. Lots of possibilities. Yeah, there are. That's why once I'm gonna get to the next milestone of this and release it finally. I'm actually kind of hoping maybe I can, like, before day 200, I can actually release the next version of this. And then, because I think that'll be the first point where, like right now, this is, it's almost kind of not even a game, because you can't really, like, there's no way to see that thing in the inventory. But when I have the listing working, then, no matter what platform you're on, you'll be able to actually get through all the things and, like, actually select the crafting recipes. And then, of course, once I have that, then I can start adding more crafting recipes, which is an easy way to add new content. And I've also got it'll be 3 new videos to go out. Honest question, why don't you use an IDE? Would it be easier for you to see everything with IntelliSense? I did learn IntelliJ, but I kind of just regressed back to Vim because it's faster for debugging. It is indispensable for debugging. But for most development, it's just more convenient to go back to Vim. And the other reason, actually, the newest version, I wasted like several days squirming around with IntelliJ to try and figure out the source of some bugs. I thought it was a bug in my thing, but it was actually a bug in IntelliJ. There were 2 separate bugs with they changed the terminal or something in IntelliJ, and it broke some stuff, so I had to regress back to an old one. Hopefully they'll fix it. And I also, on my other machine, I was debugging some stuff, and I found there's like, the debugger was hanging randomly in a really strange way. So I think there's, it seems the newest version of IntelliJ has a lot of issues. My suggestion would be to make some sort of test scrolling horizontally on the top of the game, so every time it executes, it thanks users. Yeah, there's lots of options. So we users are just clay in the algorithm's hand, even paying ones. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, maybe it's just my imagination, but there's been a number of times when there's like I can predict when I will get new, like, super chats or subscribers with like disturbingly high accuracy. And I also noticed too, sometimes it seems like if I have a good month where I get a lot of super chats, that'll actually decrease ad revenue. Because it seems like it almost seems like my revenue is decided at the start of the month, and then the views and subscribers will adapt to match that. I mean, it might be like that, like a moving average based thing, to kind of prevent people from climbing too fast or something. You created a minimum wage algorithm? Yep. We're all legislated to make a maximum amount of money. Anytime I use a game, I use Pokemon style menus. Always found that was a great way to compartmentalize things. Pokemon style. Actually, I don't even know what that is. I keep seeing ads for personal servant bots for home. If we could have one for free, would you want it? I think it would be packed with spyware. Personal servant bots. What even is that? It's not working. Oh, there it is. right, then it actually does work. Menus on right hand side consumes 1/8 screen. If you select something, it fills screen. i.e. Pokemon or items. Yeah, I guess I could try to implement something like that. Well, I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's make that work in the other orientation. Have you tried in Vim? I did enough to confirm that it is in fact similar to Vim, but the main reason I found it compelling was that I guess you can use a language server with it, and it's one of the many things on my to-do list to maybe look into more. But honestly, I haven't been doing a lot of actual coding lately. Like the stuff I do on stream is like the only coding I've been doing recently. And people keep asking me to try Claude AI. I just don't have time. I think using YOLO libs. I'm not sure what that means. YOLO libs. Claude has gone downhill. You mean it got worse? That's no good. I mean, the catchphrase with AI is, "This is the worst it's ever going to be." It's supposed to get better, not worse. DRL object detection. I'm not familiar with that phrase. Deep reinforcement learning. Yeah, I've heard of reinforcement learning. Do you have any hobbies? Not really anymore. I guess there's things I would like to do on my as a kid I used to collect stamps and stuff. I guess I've just made my business and entrepreneurial endeavors and work consumes my entire life now. So that's a good enough hobby. I mean, that's kind of, if you start your own business, your business is your hobby. And you do it all the time. Watch that video on the chip you made. Quite literally amazed me. We can fit that much into such a small thing. Yeah, I have. There's 3 videos about that that I did of the close-ups of the chips. Unfortunately, those ones, I would like to do more of those. But I mean, the payback from YouTube, like, so those videos made like, each of them made like $2 in revenue, and they take me a few days to make. Some of them at least probably a week. And then how to make a CPU video. That one did take that was at least a month, I think, and quite a bit of time spent trying to get an actual photo mask and stuff. And so that video made, I don't know, $15,000 or something like that. But then, like, there's so many other videos that take like, about as much time, but they make like $1. So it's the economics of it is, I would kind of hope, like, how to make CPU videos is it's not really the same style as some of the other ones, but I would hope there would be some traffic that would spill over, but I guess not. Remember back when I was a kid, coding on Windows 95. Potatoes for real. Learn to appreciate the advancements when you come from such time. Yeah, everybody today doesn't even understand. Like, kids today don't even understand what files are. Honestly, it's kind of concerning. So, like, a lot of kids, like, kids now don't even know what they've probably even they've never actually even seen a computer. Like, most adults understand what a desktop computer is, but a lot of young people, they just see like screens. They don't even have any concept of, they probably have never seen a processor. They've never seen a keyboard. Makes me laugh every time I think about the line from your How to Be a Broke Loser. A less successful and less charismatic version of Andrew Tate. Yeah. Did he have no business ambitions at all? No, I guess what I meant by that was there was an individual I knew. This is like there's a lot of people who are like this, but like if you think someone like Andrew Tate, who always talks about like business, and they're like, oh man, I know how to get girls and fast cars. Just come under my wing. I'll show you the ropes. I'll teach you all this stuff. I can totally hook you up. But they're not successful. And then they get onto some like business idea that's just like a scam, or it's like they try doing thing that's just like copyright infringement, but it's not even successful, because then they get someone sends them a cease and desist, and then they try fighting it, hiring a lawyer, and they complain about how the lawyer ripped them off or something, or just they get into like nonsense situations like that. We'll never understand the struggles of 99 minutes remaining. 99 minutes remaining. I'm not sure what that's from. Is that like some kind of Windows shutdown thing or something? How would you say is a good way to to learn deep concepts of CS? If you want to learn stuff super deep, I think it's all about you have to write the code. Like if you just like spend a lot of time on something, if you pick like an algorithm and just like write it and rewrite it, guess it depends what you're working on, but if it's like operating system stuff or something, like if you write your own microkernel, that'll teach you a lot about how operating systems work. Kids today don't even know how to make a folder, change a file type, Chromebook, an iPad, brain rot. Yeah, I mean, it's true. And it's like, it's concerning in a way, because like I'm sure some, the adult thing to be like, back in my day we learned all this stuff, so you should learn it too. Kind of like how, when I was young, they used to teach us cursive writing. It's like, you're gonna learn this because you're gonna need it someday. And then it was just like a waste of our lives to learn that. But what if it is kind of a waste? Like, what if you can just tell ChatGPT to make a folder or something? Like, do kids, is it even a good use of kids' time to teach them folder structures? Like, there's so much stuff to learn now. Like, the amount of time you have to spend learning to be marginally productive in society now is it's just so significant. It's not clear to me what the right path is, and I also kind of see this sort of like where I think some politicians and the people in power have just like given up on society. They're like, you know what, these people are never. It's not even worth investing in our own people. We'll just automate them all away. Old school Windows before they could estimate time of file transfer. Oh, 99 minutes? Interesting. So I guess the next thing to implement would be getting scroll bars to appear in the other direction. I guess I'll maybe call it a night there tonight. Didn't accomplish too much, but I'm getting closer to the finish line on this. Yeah, I'll probably also got to do some editing tonight. I finished the last bit of recording for the next video. There's about 1 hour of video to edit. And then once I edit that, then I will have 3 videos in the queue. And they're all about marketing. If you're coding in JS for so long, I always see explicit declarations of variables. Think to myself, why though? You have to. What do you think is the future of the cybersecurity field? Do you ever have any interest? Just got my CISSP, wanting to use it. I'm not sure. The issue with cybersecurity is that things change. Things are changing all the time. Like I remember, it used to be like, especially anything in web, like the same origin policy has changed a whole bunch of times. And with like cybersecurity, a lot of that involves like around software bugs and stuff like 0 days, and the issue is you can invest so much effort into stuff, but once something is fixed and patched, like the amount of time it would take to learn the intricacies. Like for example, I learned all about core utils, and I would probably be in a good position to find like bugs and exploits in core utils. But then once all of those exploits have been discovered and fixed, now I have all this useless information that I know about these like niche use cases of core utils commands. So it's kind of like if you're successful in whatever specific niche you go into in cybersecurity, like if you find all the bugs, you eliminate your own job. And it's not just you, it's like everyone in the field. So that's one issue with it, which is contrasted with other stuff. I would have to imagine that AI is going to be big in that field. AI is being used, or has been used a lot, and will be used a lot more now for like detection of stuff. So you just use the AI to like detect suspicious activity on the network and stuff. We should learn how to make food and electricity. Buy art and don't pay for it. It's a good idea. We can grow gardens. All right, with that, we'll call it a stream, and we'll be back tomorrow for day 188. Have a good night.